The Q&As are back, baby. Remember, you can send in your questions via inbox on YouTube or tweeting me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68 and put the hashtag Q&A so that way I know that's what you're asking me. But anyways, this Q&A is a special edition. This is the final limits edition of the Q&A. He wanted these Q&As back. He asked me, hey, would you do Q&As again? And I said, yeah, if I got questions. He said, can I go over the three questions mark? And I'm like, sure. And he said he put 19 questions. And I said, well, 19 questions from Final Limits, a guy who has been in almost all my Q&A videos. I think he maybe have missed one Q&A video asking me questions. But other than that, he's been in all of them asking me questions. So you know what? Why not? Final Limits edition of the ChaseOliver68 Q&A. His first question is, what if the Wyatt family was around in the 80s? What would they be booked like? The Wyatt family would definitely not be booked like how they are now. That's way ahead of the time of the 1980s. I mean, I know horror was getting kind of big in the 80s, and it probably was. I don't know. I was born in 93, so I don't know too much about what was big in the crazes in the 80s. But I know for a fact, with their damn beards and how they dress, they will definitely be damn hillbillies, probably carrying pitchforks. Maybe they would have like Eric Rowan be like fucking Frankenstein, and Bray Wyatt be like the mad scientist. So maybe that's what they would do with the Wyatts, but I don't think they would be booked like how they are today. That's for sure. More hillbilly redneck type of deal. What if CM Punk cut the pipe bomb on Hogan back in 1988? How would people react back then, since there were no internet and dirt sheets and shit like that? If CM Punk cut that pipe bomb, it would definitely gain more heel heat on CM Punk. Let's not forget, Hogan was the fucking hero in the 1980s. Hogan could not get booed. The crowd wasn't really split. The wrestling industry, because of the internet and because of the dirt sheets, you know, kind of got a little bit tainted in a way. Not too. It did get tainted, but I feel like Beyond the Mat, even though that's a great movie, is what really hurt wrestling a lot. Hogan, you know, was the man. Like, fans just saw black and white back then, and that's what made wrestling successful, because fans didn't know, you know, inside information. If they did, Hogan wouldn't be as successful, in my personal opinion. But Hogan was the man. And if anything, it would make CM Punk one of the best heels in the 80s to face off against Hulk Hogan if he did cut that pipe bomb. It would be kind of crazy that fans are getting the inside information about it, but at the same time, people could just say, oh, he's making that up about Hulkamania. So, yeah, definitely CM Punk would become a major heel if he cut that pipe bomb, in my personal opinion. His next question is, what if Eddie was still alive today? Would he still be wrestling? That's a good question, but I think Eddie Guerrero would probably have retired like in 2008. And the thing is, don't forget, when Eddie Guerrero passed away, may he rest in peace, he was like 37 or 38 years old, if I can remember correctly. He was up there in age. And the thing about Eddie Guerrero's style of wrestling, like Lucha Libre, he needs to be athletic for that. And I don't think like in 2013, Eddie would still have that athleticism. He would still be able to perform some of the moves today. I mean, yeah, he can still do a frog splash, but you got to think, at that age, would he want to perform a frog splash? I mean, he's not like doing DDP, unless he was doing DDP yoga. I don't know how Eddie would be able to be a full-time wrestler. I think maybe one-offs here or there, but not a, you know, not a lot of in-ring action. I do think he would have a job with the company. He would be definitely a head trainer at the WWE Performance Center, because he would be someone that would be able to teach these guys how to tell the story in the ring. That was so great about Eddie Guerrero, was the ability to tell the story in the ring. That was something that you can't take away from Eddie Guerrero. So yeah, you know what? Eddie Guerrero will definitely be making appearances and everything. So if he was still around, but I don't think he would be a full-time active wrestler in today. He would probably retire around 2008, like I said, 2007, 2008, because of his age, and you know, he made a lot of money. May he rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. His next question is, why did the overrated, roided up midget Benoit oversold the shit out of all his opponents' moves? I think Benoit was just trying to sell the fact that this shit actually hurts. I don't know. Maybe when he started to do that more after the neck injury, so I think he just started to do it because it was just like, you know, he was actually hurting Benoit, because like he, let's not forget, when Benoit suffered that neck injury, he was no young spring chicken, and so throughout the pain of taking a suplex and doing all those moves, it probably did hurt Benoit. It probably did hurt him every time he landed on his back a little bit. You know, neck affects the back. So Benoit was actually probably a little bit hurt from doing all those moves. I think the funniest oversell though is when Edge hit him in the shoulder in the WrestleMania 21 Money in the Bank ladder match. He's on the ground screaming, "Oh, Chris Benoit." Funny question, funny ass question. What if Hulk Hogan debuted today at his prime? How would fans receive him? That's a good question because, like I said, Hogan was a king in the 80s, and if you heard some of the stuff that he did backstage in the internet days, you know, there might be some shakiness with Hogan, but I feel like Hogan would be a breath of fresh air for a lot of fans. I think a lot of fans, like, let's just say, you know, if Hogan's not around in the 80s, I guess the ultimate face is like what? Andre the Giant, then Macho Man Randy Savage. So Hogan would kind of bring like that old school flavor to some of the fans. And then let's not also forget, maybe Hogan is more adept in the ring because of the ring styles changing from the 80s to today. So Hogan could actually be someone that would be very impressive in today's sports of wrestling, especially if you talk about in his prime where he's all jacked and shit and you see him doing all these crazy ass moves. Hulk Hogan would get a lot of respect from a lot of fans, and I think a lot of people would actually be interested to see what if you took Hogan in his prime and you had him in today's world. It's like kind of like the dream scenario of what if you took Muhammad Ali in his prime and he fought Mike Tyson, you know, that type of deal. So yeah, I think that would be very interesting if Hogan was in his prime. I think the fans would receive him well just because he would be so different. He would be kind of like when LeBron James first entered the NBA back in like 2003, 2004. Everyone wanted to see, oh my God, what is this specimen of LeBron James doing on this court and what will he do? So, yeah. Do you think if Ultimate Warrior was in his prime today instead of the late 80s and early 90s, that the marks like us would shit on him and call him a bitch? Oh, 100%. I think Ultimate Warrior, if he was in today's wrestling, he would be in John Cena's spot. 100%. I mean, here you have it is a guy called the Ultimate Warrior. He has fucking face paint. That's unique and original. He's fucking jacked as shit. And you know what? The dude doesn't have all the qualities that most internet fans like. Of course, man, I think he would replace John Cena. A lot of people would hate Ultimate Warrior, and if anything, John Cena would be that mid-carder that we would hope get pushed one day. That's what I would think, or maybe he would be on Superstars. But yeah, definitely, the Ultimate Warrior would probably take away John Cena's spot. I agree with what you asked there. So yes, do you think Selena Gomez is a hot babe? Selena Gomez is so fucking hot, dude. I remember there was this one episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. I think that's the Disney show. I believe that's the name of the show, where she's just rolling around in mud. Oh, how is that rated G, Disney? That is not rated G. That is just fucking sexy as hell. Selena Gomez fucked the world. She is definitely, I think she's a hot babe. I don't know. Will Taylor Swift become a bitch in the near future since she's showing signs of it now? Yup. Taylor Swift will definitely become a bitch in the near future. I don't think as crazy. I don't know what you mean. Like, will she just be a nasty person, or will she be crazy like Lindsay Lohan or Hillary? Not Hillary Duff. Amanda Bynes status. But yes, I can see Taylor Swift getting very, very bitchy towards as a person. Just meow, meow, meow. I mean, most young singers and stars, no matter what, they always go through that phase. They're sick and tired of shit. Just to get tired of being shit on, they go through that phase. You know, sometimes you get the nice girl that doesn't really go through the phase, but normally the nice girl that doesn't go through that phase, their careers are not as successful. Like most people say, there's no such thing as bad press, and the same goes for Taylor Swift. How stupid is that song, Blurred Lines? It is fucking stupid. And you put in quotations, I hate that song. I hate that song too. Almost every time I start up my car. So here's my car keys, right? Pretend I'm getting in my car. I turn on my car and I have my hand on the wheel and all of a sudden I hear bloodlines. I know you want it. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, this song again. And then I'll change the station of the radio to get away from that fucking song. And then all of a sudden, bloodlines. It's at a different part. I'm like, how are two damn stations playing this song? It's so annoying. And I play NBA 2K14, and let me tell you something. This is fucking ridiculous. This song plays every time in NBA 2K14. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, no, dude, I hate that song too. It's very annoying. I mean, it's kind of catchy. And it's a fun song to dance to, but when you hear it all the damn time, it's so annoying. I mean, if I heard it every once in a while, I wouldn't care because I would dance to it. I'll be like, this is actually a good dancing song. But hearing it all the time, it gets stuck in your head. Ugh, just ugh, move on, move on. Uh, what did you choose when you finished GTA 5? Did you choose to kill Michael or Trevor, or did you choose what I chose, C? Option C is the best for me. The reason being is because I said, well, I think that's what Rockstar wanted as the true ending of GTA, for you to be able to play as all three characters. So, yeah, I chose option C because that's the best for me, and I chose C like you did. But I have played A and B, and trust me, none of those endings are as cool as option C in my opinion. Do you still play GTA 5 after you beat it? Yeah, I still play GTA 5. I do the side missions that I haven't done currently. I play it sporadically because I've gotten other games like 2K14 and a bunch of other games because I don't want to spoil because you asked a question about one of the games. Um, but yeah, I still play it. Like I play the side missions obviously online. The thing was, I played GTA 5 so much when it first came out. Like I played it for like a month straight. That like I was just getting a little bit bored of just always playing GTA. I'm like, it's a great game. It's still, to me, game of the year. It's still fucking awesome. But just playing it so much just got me so out of the mood of it that it will take a while before I touch it again. Doesn't mean it's a bad game, but like I said, with the online, I'm waiting for them to add more stuff online because once they start adding more stuff online, to me personally, I feel that online will be such a great experience and will be so much more fun than what it is now. All right, his next question is, what do you think of the Saints Row games and which one is my favorite? I have said previously in the Q&A, I love Saints Row. It's totally different than GTA. I like the zany and the fun in Saints Row. Some of the missions are just bats out crazy. And probably my favorite of the series, I would have to say the second one. Saints Row 2 was definitely my second, my favorite Saints Row game. The reason being is because one, your character can finally talk, and it was kind of random how he just wouldn't talk in the first game except for the last cutscene of the whole game. And also the second game, I love the church that you take over, or the underground. I can't remember if it's a church or the underground. I love how you can just make your games just whatever you want them to be, ninjas or mobsters. I love the characters that you have with you that surround to make up your game. I found the missions to be really, really fun in Saints Row 2. But yeah, that's probably my favorite. Saints Row 2 is definitely my favorite of the games of the Saints Row series. But I do like the Saints Row series. Do you think Anderson Silva talks like a little bitch with that high pitched voice of his? And when the fuck is he gonna learn to speak English? Nah, I actually find Silva's voice fucking hilarious. Because like, have you seen Spider-Man? That's hilarious. And also, Anderson Silva does know how to speak English. He's actually taking English classes in Los Angeles. I don't know if he's taking them right now, but he's been taking them. And before you like bash Silva for not learning English, just remember he grew up in Brazil. He knows Portuguese. That's like, what if Anderson Silva said, "When are you going to learn Portuguese?" That type of deal. I mean, you can't really bash him for not knowing English. I mean, he when he was UFC champ from like 2005 all the way, like Silva as a UFC fighter, and I'm gonna be dead honest here, Anderson Silva did not get started talking about until he fought Chael Sonnen. That's when people knew, the casuals knew who the fuck Anderson Silva was, when Chael Sonnen was fighting him, because Chael Sonnen was just such a good hype man for that UFC 117. And then after that Chael Sonnen fight, everyone started talking about Silva in the mainstream media. Before, it was more like a GSP or Brock Lesnar, and even Chuck Liddell would overshadow Silva. Silva didn't get big in the mainstream media until recently, and like I said, when he fought Chael Sonnen at UFC 117. So really, if you think about it, Silva never really had to go out there and speak English because he wasn't the main attraction. He wasn't the main guy that the UFC was saying, hey, you need to speak English for these interviews. No, people were asking for GSP. People were asking for Brock Lesnar. Like I said before, Silva wasn't the main guy, and he kind of just became the main guy when he did that, when he fought Chael, he did the front kick on Vitor, and then afterwards he has to learn something new. He became the biggest star in MMA because everyone's like, gee, look at how undefeated Anderson Silva is. People started to appreciate his greatness, and you know, he's made huge strides since he's first come to America. So I think you should lighten up a little bit on Anderson Silva trying to learn English because, like I said, you try to learn Portuguese. I mean, if you know Portuguese, good for you, Final Limits. Uh, what do you think if Taylor Swift or Selena Gomez pulled a Miley Cyrus and smoked a joint on stage? What would fans react like? Taylor Swift would definitely get a lot of shit for it because a lot of little girls look up to her. So she would get more of a huge brunt force than fucking Selena Gomez. I think Selena Gomez would kind of just get off not really too hard because everyone like, oh, she's young, Disney girls are crazy, but Taylor Swift, I think she would get a lot of blunt force for it. So yeah, definitely Taylor Swift would get a huge brunt force. Like they like fans would just send her death threats. I think they would send her death threats if they saw that. They're like parents, especially crazy parents too. Um, your next question is: did you get Kingdom Hearts HD game for PS3? Yes, sir. And let me tell you, Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix. That shit is crazy fun. I love it. It's the new keyblades are awesome. I love the new system with the triangle button. It makes the game so much easier and much fun to play. Proud mode is a fucking bitch. I've been playing that shit on proud mode, and I didn't know how hard some of the enemies were because I was just bossing through proud mode pretty much like I normally do for the game. And you know, the game Kingdom Hearts, the game itself, it's not really that hard if you know every enemy's attack pattern and you know when to guard and all that other crap. But then afterwards, when I got to Hollow Bastion, I was getting two-shotted by fucking defenders, and I was like, I got a fucking level grind. Are you kidding me? And then all of a sudden, I kept on dying. And don't forget, this is proud mode. This ain't no standard mode. If this was standard mode, I would probably be like destroying the game. But the visible soldiers at Hollow Bastion, those things are annoying as fuck. I finally figured out their battle strategy, but right now I'm just having fun. I beat Final Mix. I watched the 358 by 2 days movie. I am interested in playing Rechain of Memories. Not really full-heartedly because Chain of Memories wasn't my favorite Kingdom Hearts game, and it's not really a game I'm looking to revisit anytime soon. But I'm looking forward to playing it in the near future. But right now I'm just having fun with HD, just playing Final Mix, fucking around, trying to get the ultimate weapon. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing with that game. But yes, I did get it. Did you get or are you getting a PS4 or Xbox One? In the near future. I'm not interested in the new consoles. I don't think the new consoles needed to come out now. I kind of felt like the hype for these new consoles weren't as delivered because I haven't heard that much about it. I remember when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 first came out, I was hearing so much about these consoles and how great they were and all this. And for the PS4 and the Xbox One, I haven't really heard much about the consoles. Um, the graphics look amazing, but I'm not in a rush to get any of these consoles. I felt that they should have waited a little bit before getting them. I'm still happy with my PS3 and my Xbox 360. Most of the games are still coming out that I want to play, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I have my Grand Theft Auto 5. I have my NBA 2K14. I have my Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 2 HD is coming out on PS3. I think the only time I'm really needing a PS4 or Xbox One is when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out or when GTA 5, the complete edition, comes out for those systems. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alrighty, Dan. What are your thoughts on that deformed midget Rockstar Spud on TNA? Oh, God. I just don't see it. I know a lot of British fans love him, but I don't see it. I don't see it with Rockstar Spud. I don't get it. I don't hate him. I think he's a good talent, but I just don't get what's so great about him. I just don't. I just don't. Uh, what happened to our mate, Railed Herald? He's ruling the Kingdom of Nigeria right now. Don't worry. I think Railed Herald will return one day. He will return. But right now, he has to settle some things in Nigeria. And once he's done settling some damn things in Nigeria, he will be back. That is for damn sure. What is the worst games you ever played? Worst games. I will give you 4 games that I felt like were the worst games that I've ever played. One game was called Jericho. It came out in the Xbox 360. It was supposed to be some weird ass horror alien, I can't remember, shooter. That was one of the worst games I played because it was fucking, it was like such a dull first person. It was like Doom with better graphics, but not as fun. It was just terrible. Like, don't even play Jericho. If you see that game, don't even buy it. Like, just say, nope, I'm skipping this. Um, Elmo's Pogo Stick Adventure, and that game was when I was a little kid, and I hated it because I felt like it was insulting my intelligence. It was pretty much where you were Elmo on a fucking pogo stick, and you had to grab fucking letters, and that's pretty much it. Then afterwards, the other games. I'm trying to think of games that I played that I just thought were terrible. Oh god, I'm drawing a blank on this one game. Do I really want to say Ratchet All for One? That's actually fun when you get a bunch of friends drunk. I'm trying to think of some games because I want to at least give you four, but I'm trying to think of like one that I just truly hated, and also games that are actually deserving to be bad. Madden 07 for the DS. That shit was terrible. I'll say that. That's one of my games that is one of the worst. And I know there's a bunch of shooters, but I don't want to be generic. Two Worlds. Two Worlds is definitely one of the worst games I've ever played. Oh god, it was supposed to be Oblivion on steroids. All that shit was terrible voice acting, terrible story, glitches, running back and forward. Oh god, that game was terrible. But anyways, thank you Final Limits for sending in your 19 amazing questions. Remember, guys, you can send in questions via inbox or tweeting me on Twitter. Just tweet me at ChaseOliver68, hashtag Q&A. Anyways, thank you, Final Limits. Hope you guys enjoyed the Final Limits edition of the Q&A. I decided to really go in depth with these questions because I haven't done Q&As in a while. Sorry for the video length. I'll make sure to try to cut that down in time, but I felt it was worthy to talk about these questions because some of these questions were good and some of these questions I like rambling. If I see a question where I can just ramble on about, I will do it. But thank you guys very much. Well, thank you, Final Limits, very much for getting me to get my ass going on these Q&As again. Remember, like I said, you can send the questions via inbox or tweeting me at Twitter, ChaseOliver68. I love plugging my fucking Twitter. Like this video, dislike this video. Definitely share this video with all your friends. Anyways, guys, I have to go freaking bury myself in a statistics book. See y'all later.